Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to remind you of a couple of ways we can work together this year. So if you're listening to this the day the episode has gone live, the doors to the sisterhood are open until the 1st of February. So the link is in the show notes to become a member. This is my manifestation and mindset community for monthly live calls, monthly masterclasses, to enhance and continue on with your personal development journey so you can manifest your dream life in 2023 with accountability with all of your goals and tons more support. And if you want to go deeper together, working together one-to-one to really unlock who you are here to be in the world, to release and clear and heal all of the shit that has been holding you back and move into a space where you are completely in alignment with your dream life, taking conscious daily action, as well as feeling like a whole new version of yourself, then one-to-one coaching is for you. This is the most intimate and high-level way to work with me to get bespoke support with your unique goals. All my clients get access to me throughout the week on WhatsApp. We dive deep into the sessions, but you can also voice note me. It really is like having me as your cheerleader in life. Many of my clients love that and love that feeling of being supported. The link is in the show notes to apply. You can book a free call in February or as soon as I'm available, and I can't wait to hear from you. Welcome back to the Put Yourself First podcast. I am your host, Kat Horrocks, a mindset and manifestation coach. And if for whatever reason you are new to the podcast, you've stumbled on this episode as your first one, this podcast is all about guiding ambitious women to put themselves first and manifest a life even better than their vision board. And today's episode begins this new series I want to create where I take you through the absolute basic, like as nitty gritty and detailed as I can get about what we do here, why we do it, why it works so well for my clients, and ultimately so you can learn so much more about yourself, your mindset, your soul, your body, your past, your manifestations. I want to give you the ins and outs of the behind the scenes that you may not get unless you pay to do a course or a program. So I know that especially with what we're going to talk about today, having conscious awareness of something can really help the unconscious process sinking in more. I know that if I understand what is happening when I'm doing something, my brain, my mind accepts it more. It soaks in, it sinks in. So if you're one of those people, then I think you're going to love this series. And if you're also just someone who loves personal development, loves personal development, loves digging into their goals, their mindset, all of those kinds of topics, you are just going to get to geek out with me over these episodes. So episode number 1 is why your mindset creates 95% of your results. And when I used to focus a lot on business coaching and mainly worked with women in business, and now work with all women and no longer focus on business as a focus of my personal work and coaching. I used to say that business was 80% mindset and 20% strategy. And I would have said the same about personal development. 80% mindset, 20% strategy, as in taking the action, thinking logically, planning things out, setting your goals, all of that kind of stuff. And actually, this scientifically and from my perspective as well, as I've dug deeper and deeper into this, I think to me it's more like 95%. To me, it's more obvious that if I sit down with you for a 10-minute conversation and you're coming to me with a question about something, I'm struggling with this, I want to fix this, I want to achieve this. If you're coming to me needing support and coaching with something, and you think that it is a surface level strategic thing that needs to change, I bet that within a 10-minute conversation together, we can dig in to the majority of the problem being mindset and energy. And some people don't like that, but what I'm going to talk about today really illustrates that from a neuroscience perspective, from a brain science perspective. So you are 95% unconscious, and this doesn't just go for personal development, this goes for everything about you, everything about what is happening in your body right now, in your mind right now. 95% of it is unconscious. So your unconscious mind, you can think of it like this incredibly powerful system and program that is all like a computer that is always running in the background. And the reason it is running in the background is because you don't have conscious awareness over, like I said, 95% of what's going on. So this works for the body as well as the mind. So your unconscious mind is running your digestive system. You don't have to eat a snack and then think about, right, that needs to go down into my stomach. Right, now I need my stomach acids to break the food down. Right, now it needs to move into my intestines. That doesn't happen. You don't have to consciously focus on digesting your food in order to digest it. It's just happening. Same with your breathing. You don't have to consciously breathe. You don't have to think, oh my God, I forgot to breathe, I've not got enough oxygen. As you go about your day to day, your breath is unconsciously happening without you having to think about it. And so your mind is also working with so many other systems at play that are less tangible but still absolutely there. And this is where we come to mindset, because if your unconscious mind is focused on maintaining order, so thinking about, your digestive system, your breathing, all of the systems in your body, all of your organs are working unconsciously to maintain order, right? To maintain balance, harmony, keep you healthy, keep you running, all of that kind of stuff. Your mind is working in the same way with your belief system, with your mindset, with what you believe to be true, with your conditioning, with all the things we're going to get into in a second. So remembering that statistic of, you are 95%, probably more, but about 95% unconscious. So 95% of you, and therefore your life, your results, the things that are happening around you, is unconscious. You are not consciously aware of it. So to bring this to results, growth, and mindset, I want you to think about what I like to call what we like to call, because this is NLP, which is part of the coaching I'm trained in. Your filters, and we call it your internal representation. That sounds really wordy. What I want you to think about, and how I want you to understand this, is you have unconscious filters in your mind. Think of it like a sieve. The sieve is the filters that you have in your mind. So if you're pouring rice through a sieve, the cooked rice is going to allow the excess water to go through the sieve, but the rice is going to remain in the sieve. It's not going to be allowed, it's not going to be pushed through, because the holes in the sieve, aka the filter, is not going to let them pass through. So your unconscious mind has a set of these filters that essentially dictate what is going to go through, what is going to be accepted, right? What is going to work with the current program, the current order that is being maintained, and what is not, and what is going to be rejected. And your internal representation is essentially the pictures and the movie and the memories and the thoughts that we get in our mind as a result of our filters. So an example might be, one of your filters might be that when you were younger, you had a really bad experience with a dog. And so one of your filters is a fear of dogs, or a belief that dogs are dangerous. And so your internal representation of a dog is one of fear, feeling scared, wanting to run away, being a trigger. But someone else's filter of dogs could be, the culture they grew up in, or the conditioning they had, their environment growing up was of a positive one. Dogs are great, we love dogs, dogs are man's best friend. And so their filter, when you tell them think of a dog, or seeing a dog walking down the street, their filter will be a very different one to yours. And that process is happening, again, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. If there is something in your unconscious mind that filters through, dogs are scary, that is why when you look at a dog, you get scared. You feel triggered, you feel like you want to run away. And why I would look at a dog and go, oh my God, and I feel happy, and it brings up a completely different response in me. So we can change our filters. We can work to change what is allowed to pass through, and also what the experience on the other side of that is going to be. And that is what mindset work is. So speaking to some examples of filters, of what that sieve is made of for you. Number one, your culture, right? How you grew up, where you grew up, in what culture you grew up. We know that different cultures have completely different perspectives and viewpoints and ways of, normality, essentially. Like, what is normal for one person is completely different to someone who's living on the the opposite end of the world. Your conditioning and your environment is another example. So how you were brought up, specifically in your environment with your caregivers or parents, with your family, where you went to school, what happened to you growing up. All of these things are your conditioning, the ongoing experience that you had. Because again, if my conditioning and my experience is the complete opposite of yours, our sieve is going to look very different, and our mindset is going to work in different ways. Another example, which you'll have worked with a lot before with personal development, is your belief system. So what you believe to be true, what you've been told to believe to be true, what you've been taught to believe to be true, but also based on your unique mind and brain and consciousness and experience as a human, because that can include, specific experiences you've had, can contribute to what you essentially download into that unconscious mind to be true, what you believe to be true. So we know about limiting beliefs, we know why limiting beliefs hold us back, and limiting beliefs are just one example of how that sieve can not let something pass through. It won't let something pass into the unconscious, or it won't accept something. It will reject it, it will resist it. And when you think of that analogy of the sieve, I want you to remember that almost like the Monopoly thing, take £100, pass go and take £100. If everyone's played Monopoly, right? I'm sure there's probably someone here who hasn't, but that don't pass go when you get the jail card. That's what the sieve, that's what your unconscious mind and the filters are saying. If something happens in your reality and it is out of alignment with those filters, with how you've been brought up, with what you've been taught, with your past experiences, and all this is happening deep, deep, deep under the surface, and we aren't always consciously aware of it. And what mindset work is, in a nutshell, is bringing things that are unconscious into your conscious awareness. We talk a lot about self-awareness, and it literally means becoming aware, learning about yourself. And when that applies to mindset, we're learning and unpacking and working with that sieve, those unconscious filters, those unconscious beliefs, right? Many of them lie under the surface until we do this work and become aware of them. And once something unconscious has been brought to the surface and we're consciously aware of it, we can work with it and we can think, well, is this working for me? Do I still want this filter? Do I still want this sieve to stop letting that through? Do I still want this sieve to maintain the order of everything in this specific way? Or do I want something different? Do I want a different belief? Do I want to change my experience of something? So the phobia example is one, but if we bring this into personal development now, you might have a filter that you were brought up with a really severe bullying situation at school, and that has created an unconscious filter that is essentially your belief in I'm not good enough, or I am unlovable, or there's something fundamentally wrong with me. And that experience might have created that belief that lies unconscious, because again, with conditioning and with upbringing, a lot of this happens between the ages of 0 to 7. I need to do a whole other episode on how your unconscious actually develops, but you might have a belief based on what happened to you that there's something fundamentally wrong with you. And so that remembering that sieve is always there, that filter, you might go through life really struggling with confidence and self-belief, and in your career you always struggle standing up in front of your colleagues and delivering a presentation, or you don't put yourself forward for an opportunity. External things are happening because of this underlying unconscious conditioning and belief that is at play. Remembering as well that this is 95% of how you are, like what you are driving with, the equipment that you have. So you might recognize this, or you might not recognize this, but only 5%, if you don't do the unconscious deep mindset work, only 5% of you is going to be consciously able to try and force yourself to be more confident. And maybe you might, use some affirmations, or just try to just say, I just need to get myself out there more. You might come up with some conscious ideas on the surface level that you hope will change things. But if we're not working on that unconscious deep level, can you see how that's not going to work out? And in the next episode, I'm going to talk about the conscious and unconscious divide, and more of essentially how we sabotage our own growth because of this unconscious mindset work, because of, or should I say, the lack of unconscious mindset work. So I wanted to summarize things at the end here. You are 95% unconscious. Your unconscious mind is essentially 24/7 running and maintaining order in your body, in your mind, in everything, including with your mindset. And how it does this on a day-to-day basis in terms of how you experience life. So remembering that internal representation is like the picture or the perspective or the opinion you have of something, the experience you have of something. That is determined by your filters. And your filters are like that sieve. So your unconscious mind is responsible for maintaining what is being upheld in your value system, in your beliefs, in your conditioning, in your culture. So if something is out of alignment with that, for example, you go to try and do something at work that doesn't align with the belief that you don't do things like that, or there's something fundamentally wrong with you, your unconscious mind is going to stop you from doing that, and it's not going to accept that change. It's not going to accept that change unless we do the deeper work to essentially work with the unconscious mind, work with these principles so that we can bring what is unconscious into our conscious awareness and practice supporting ourselves, coaching ourselves, being coached, and working with the unconscious mind to reprogram that system. And that, in a nutshell, is what mindset work is. So when you hear me saying mindset work is important, mindset work is important, mindset work is important, I want you to remember that sieve, because if you are someone who goes, oh, yeah, mindset work, sure, but I just want to know what to do, just be aware that you might be pouring a pan of rice with some excess water through your sieve and hoping and praying that the rice will go into the sink through the sieve, and it won't, because the sieve won't let the rice go in. And the rice could be a new habit you want to build, a change you want to make, how you want to feel about yourself, a certain result that you want to achieve, something you want to manifest, because mindset works alongside manifestation. The rice won't go through if the unconscious mind does not have the correct filter, the correct system in place to allow and accept the rice to go through. So think about that the next time you do battle with this, or you have any resistance around doing the inner work. Remember that analogy, remember the sieve, and know that you can change your filters, you can change your unconscious mind. It just takes practice, the right tools, consistency, and the right way to support yourself. Finding the tools, finding the support that works for you. Because again, everyone is so unique, everyone's filters are unique, everyone's unconscious mindset is unique. So we've got to work with you to find what works for you. And I always say with my coaching, I have a toolkit, and imagine, like, loving analogies in today's episode. Imagine I'm a plumber and I'm coming to fix your toilet. Do not ask me to fix your toilet, because I will not be able to do it. But if we're working with this analogy, and I'm like a plumber but for your mind, and I'm coming and I'm unblocking it. I'm loving this analogy, loving where this is going. I'm unblocking it and I'm working with my toolbox to do that. And you'll know, if you've ever had a workman round, they can sometimes have like all sorts of stuff lying around in like a massive bag or a box. And you don't need to know every last thing that is in that toolkit. You just need to trust that that professional is going to pick the right tool to use for that job to help you. And coaching is exactly the same. So I have a toolkit of EFT, of coaching, of NLP tools, of energy work, of so many other things. And it's my job to pick out what tools you need to get the job done for you. And the job is whatever you are bringing to the work we're doing. So I love that analogy. I really hope it helps you think about and reflect on why personal development and coaching might be perfect for you. And also, hopefully you've got some context around what is actually happening under the surface and why mindset is so important for really creating lasting shifts, lasting results, lasting change. So, hope you enjoyed it. I wanted to mention here that I am taking on new one-to-one clients, so I would love to hear from you if you're interested in working together this year. I will make sure to pop the correct links to find out more of what we can work on together, hear stories from previous clients, what's included. All of that info will be linked in the show notes, as well as a link to apply if you are just ready to apply, ready to book a free call, and ready to dive in. So I'll link those below. I also wanted to mention here, the sisterhood doors are still open throughout January, I get asked every time, almost every month I get asked, when are the doors opening again? Can I get on the wait list? So for those of you who message me that, the doors are open now, girl. Join. Join us. I'd love to have you in there. The sisterhood is great if you're not quite ready for one-to-one yet, or you want more of a like group community vibe, more like ongoing, pretty hands-off, like really fun, relaxed growth and personal development, but within a really just gorgeous community of women. There's 2 monthly calls. There's tons of resources. Great if, like I said at the beginning, you geek out with me over personal development and you just want some tools and some knowledge each month to continue on your mindset and manifestation journey. So check that out. All the links are in the show notes, and just DM me on Instagram or email in if you have any questions or you're not quite sure what's right for you. And I really hope you enjoy this series. I'm really excited to continue creating it. The next episode, like I said, will be about self-sabotage and how and why you sabotage your own growth and how to stop doing that. So I'll see you there.